High in the Rocky Mountains, nestled among towering pines and mirrored lakes, lies Teton County, Wyoming, a place of breathtaking beauty where nature reigns supreme. But beneath its picturesque facade, a darkness once took hold, a story whispered on the wind, a story of a family, a remote cabin, and an unspeakable terror that unfolded within its walls. This is the true story of the Teton County mystery, an event so chilling it continues to haunt the region to this day. In the winter of 1959, as the first snowflakes began to fall, the Henderson family prepared for their annual retreat to their secluded cabin deep in the wilderness. George Henderson, a rugged outdoorsman, his wife Helen, a loving homemaker, and their two young children, 8-year-old Billy and 6-year-old Sally, looked forward to their time together, cut off from the world, surrounded by the tranquility of nature. Little did they know this year, the silence would be shattered by something sinister. Miles from the nearest town, accessible only by a winding snow-covered path, the Henderson cabin stood silent against the vast wilderness. Built from sturdy logs, its windows, mere squares of light against the encroaching darkness, promised warmth and safety within. This year, as George parked their trusty pickup truck in the clearing, an unsettling stillness hung in the air. The usual chirping of birds was absent, replaced by a heavy silence that seemed to press down on them. Inside the cabin was cold, the air thick with the musty scent of disuse. Helen immediately set about building a fire in the old stone fireplace, its flickering flames casting dancing shadows on the rough-hewn walls. Billy and Sally, their breath forming white puffs in the frigid air, explored their familiar haven, their laughter momentarily dispelling the unsettling atmosphere. As darkness fell, the family huddled together, sharing stories and laughter, the outside world fading into a distant memory. The first night passed uneventfully, the howling wind the only sound disturbing the family's sleep. But the following day, a sense of unease began to settle over the cabin. It started subtly, with strange noises during the night, soft scratches at the door, the creaking of floorboards beneath seemingly weightless steps. George, a practical man, dismissed them as the sounds of an old building settling, or perhaps the wind playing tricks. But Helen couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss. One evening, as the family gathered around the crackling fire, a sudden sharp rap on the door sent a jolt of fear through them. The sound, clear and distinct, echoed through the silent cabin. Billy and Sally clung to their mother, their eyes wide with fear. George, grabbing his rifle, cautiously approached the door, his heart pounding in his chest. Throwing it open, he was met only by the impenetrable darkness of the forest, the wind whispering through the trees. Section 4. A ghastly discovery. Days turned into a terrifying game of cat and mouse, with the unseen presence making itself known through increasingly bolder actions. Objects moved inexplicably. Whispered voices too low to decipher seemed to emanate from the very walls. The children, their laughter silenced, refused to be separated from their parents, their innocent eyes reflecting the growing terror that gripped the family. The isolation that had once been a source of joy had transformed into a prison of fear. Then, one morning, the unimaginable happened. Helen awoke to find the cabin eerily silent. Rising from bed, she called out for George and the children, but her voice was met with an empty silence. Panic clawed at her throat as she searched frantically through the small cabin, each empty room amplifying her growing terror. Section 5. The Search for Answers. Stumbling out of the cabin and into the blinding snow, Helen desperately searched for any sign of her family. Her cries for help were swallowed by the vast emptiness of the wilderness. Hours later, numb with cold and despair, she managed to reach the main road and flag down a passing truck driver. The search for the missing Hendersons began immediately, but the unforgiving Wyoming winter seemed determined to keep its secrets. The local authorities, aided by volunteers, scoured the area for days, but the family had vanished without a trace. The cabin, when searched, yielded no clues, save for a single chilling detail. The front door, which George had carefully bolted every night, was found wide open, as if inviting the icy wind inside. Section 6. A Legacy of Fear. The disappearance of the Henderson family sent shockwaves through Teton County and beyond. Theories abounded, ranging from wild animal attacks to more sinister explanations involving local legends of vengeful spirits and ancient curses. Despite numerous investigations and countless hours spent poring over the scant evidence, the case remained unsolved, shrouded in mystery and unanswered questions. The cabin, once a symbol of warmth and family, stood abandoned, a grim reminder of the tragedy that unfolded within its walls. Some whispered of strange lights and sounds emanating from the cabin, claiming that the spirits of the Hendersons, unable to find peace, still walked the earth. Whatever the truth, the story of the Teton County mystery continues to resonate, a chilling reminder that even in the most beautiful corners of the world, darkness can lurk, waiting to claim the unsuspecting.